Marion knew that they had to serve their association members during the pandemic, and she took a really different tack. You may say, "Oh, not so many bells and whistles," but I think it was absolutely brilliant. And we can all learn from remembering that our customers are the ones we have to serve. So with that, I am going to shut up and turn it over to Marion, and
Thank
I'll
you.
see you back soon.
All right, well, thanks a lot. But before we get started, I have to clear up a couple of things. So when Robin, I hope none of you saw Robin's original post with that headshot that was easily 15 years ago, because you won't trust anything I say, because clearly that was not really me. So I apologize for that. I didn't have the energy to say, oh, I have a new one. But step one. The second thing is that I really don't love technology. I don't care about the magic. I don't care. And I really think of myself as falling somewhere in the spectrum of, okay, Boomer and Robin. Like, I'm right in the middle. I know it's important. I know I have to use it and understand it, but I don't really care about the magic behind the curtain. I just wanted to do the stuff I needed to do. So I appreciated that Robin asked us to come and share our modest tale of success. But there was something else in that original post, Robin, and I had said to Robin that at one point, one of our trade publications had said, yeah, well, you know what you really need? The site has to be more fun. We need to be Club Penguin, this and that. And I, maybe not on my best day, said, yeah, well, you know what's fun? Selling stuff. And that was where I did not carry over that title to this session, but that's kind of where we came from. So I'm going to try not to be the boomer end of the spectrum here as I go to share my screen. One moment, please. There you go. I made it. All right. I may not understand all the ins and outs of technology, but what I do understand is why we exist as an association. And I am with the Toy Association. The association's been around since 1916. New York City has hosted go-to-market events, hotels, 200 Fifth Avenue since 1903. And since 1987, we've been producing Toy Fair New York, which occupies the Javits Center every February with up to 447,000 square feet. The last few years, we have completely filled the Javits Center. That is our premium live event, but we also have Toy Fair Dallas that we hold each year in in October. So we understand why we are an association and what we do for our members. And our team, and Kimberly Carcone is on here too. We work side by side. We understand that our job is to help our members sell more product in more markets more often. And that is the beginning and the end of how we measure whether or not an endeavor is worth the effort. So we come to you with knowledge of our industry. We come to you with that association brain, that you do things for a mission, not always driven by make us another 10% next year. Yes, we are profitable. Yes, we strive for profit, but it is not like a for-profit organization that beats that drum. So, one moment. Here's what happened. Back in 2013, we were approached by a developer, Balloon, out of California. And what they brought to us was that, are you aware how much the buyer journey has changed? The discovery process, the efficiency of sourcing new product. And we were aware that things were changing, but we were also aware that as consumers, we had become very comfortable with having another life online. In fact, we all knew people that had actually found their life partners. So the theory was that, well, if you can actually establish a relationship for the rest of your life online, surely that consumer behavior was going to bubble over into the way B2B acted. So we invested, and this is meaningful to us as association staff because associations are not traditionally risk takers. They're not traditionally pioneers, but the association stepped up and started to invest in the creation of a domain that would be only for the toy industry. We called it shoptoys365.com, being somewhat, well, what will the Nuremberg Toy Fair think? What will Hong Kong think if we get so bold? So we called it Shop Toys 365 back in 13. It didn't do that well. It really did not do that well. There was a lot of tradition in the way our industry was doing business. There was a lot of, we've got this, we've got our Rolodex, you know, and the reps, oh my gosh, the reps, how they thought we were trying to put them out of business. We were not. But what happened back then, we just kept at it and kept at it. And while we wanted year-round subscriptions, we really weren't get them. I think at one point we had 12 year-round subscriptions, but it wasn't the goal. And then here we get to 2020. And what happened is that we had a very successful toy fair. We were the last big show at the Javits Center in February. We ended on February 25th. I had been to Nuremberg a couple of weeks before, was starting to hear all this buzz about what was going to happen. But we came through Toy Fair February unscathed. Very, very successful. But a few weeks later, we were all home, and we thought it would be for a few weeks, and we were still counting the receipts. But the world came to an end, and the trade show cycle of the toy industry came to a dead stop. So we looked inward and we said, well, you know, we have the resources, we have the reach, and we do have the responsibility to go in even deeper. But one of the flaws of our model leading up to that point was that we relied heavily on our development partner to also help us with our marketing and sales. And because we weren't getting headcount. So we had to really look at what we could do ourselves. There's another gentleman, I saw his name pop up. I know Jackson's on the phone. I have two people who are tech savvy. And they said, well, okay, we will take on the understanding the architecture, completely rewriting what their primary job function was, because we could not rely on our developer to do this. We needed to become more self-sufficient. Our salespeople who were used to selling 10 by 10 squares on a board had to now sell a digital experience with all that training. And our marketing, that had to certainly take on a different tone. But what was important is that we knew it would still meet the mission of helping more members, sell more products in more markets more often. So on we went. Now, it didn't work so well in that 365 environment for those 8 years or 7 years. What we noticed is that because we were a trade show team, and that what was missing from our other members' lives was that, oh my gosh, licensing is not going to be taking place. Astra's not happening. I'm not going to be in that city at that event that moved my business forward for those 4 days. So we tried something and we said, okay, let's think like they think. Number one, let's use our premium brand Toy Fair. The heck with the rest of the world. We are the Toy Fair. Let's change the name to Toy Fair. Let's change it to Toy Fair Everywhere. And let's also test the waters with a series of market weeks. It seemed to psychologically resonate that we could say, your commitment is for 7 days in July, 7 days in August, and 7 days in September. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, what a great idea. Now it was pretty much the same platform, but because we packaged it in a way that they understood as what was missing from their life, we went forward. How did it work out? Well, it worked out beautifully. We wound up having, over the 3 weeks, 21 days, 209 showrooms showing product with 847 brands, 33,000 products, exclusive buyers, 3,000 buyers coming to the platform over the days. Now, this was not an order writing platform. It was all about connections. It was all about, fine if they took the sale offline. But this is the kind of activity that we generated. And we did it over those 3 weeks. And it was successful and it was profitable and it surprised everybody. And it was ridiculously cheap, because we were also we're an association, our members are struggling. This is not the time to overburden them with an added investment. We saw it as a marketing exercise to say, maybe now we'll get their attention that this year-round digital option is the way to go. So we had those 3 market weeks. They went well. We came out with a head of steam, but it was September. The party was somewhat over. We had a lot of information about what else they wanted. And clearly it was that add to cart feature. There were some communication challenges of how to make the connections and who should be able to connect with whom. But there we were in October, and we thought, okay, we're going to take all that. We'll relaunch after the first of the year. But guess what? The industry is not ready to stop looking at product. So we had a conversation with Target and said, what are you doing? You're normally in LA. You're normally in Dallas at our Toy Fair Dallas. How are you going to meet with your clients? And they said, well, we're meeting with all of our existing line, we're good. We're meeting with them. I said, well, what are you using? What technology? What platform? Well, we use Zoom and PowerPoint. I was like, well, that is a really low bar. So how about we step in and serve as your net to bring in all of those companies that you would have seen walking around the other shows, the discovery piece of what we're doing. And I said, well, let's give it a try. Now, we had done something similar for Target a few years back with inventors. So it was pretty easy to convince them that we were a trusted partner. And they're also on our board. Well, we did it. We did it. We got 100 applications. And the process was this. We, the association, sent out all call. This is what Target's looking for. They're looking for these product categories. They want women-owned business. They want Black-owned businesses. And we were able to customize the application so that the submissions that we got were exact or close to what they were looking for. And then we wash our hands. We send it over in bulk to Target. Target then says, we want to see these 30 companies, 20 companies. Then we take it back. Now we charge those companies who are going to get the appointments. And we take it all in-house and we work it through and we host for them. We did two separate private previews using their preferred technology of choice, Zoom and PowerPoint, because the customers who came in really didn't have to come in super polished. What they needed was the conversation, that meeting. So by the end of March, we're still going. This didn't end. We went through the fall with all of these brands that you see on your screen. We have QVC coming up. We have Aldi coming up. And we are still in conversations with retailers because we're still filling the void. We're still moving product and we're still generating revenue. And truthfully, this is another one. God bless this team, because they were saying, okay, now we're room monitors because we got to get the flow in and out of the rooms for them. So it was fantastic. So I want to give you a little promotional clip of Toy Fair Everywhere, and then I'll tell you where we are today.
Toy Fair Everywhere, where sellers are able to create digital showrooms with unlimited products and brands and offer full order capture solutions to sell toys and youth products to buyers. Toy Fair Everywhere, where buyers are able to find new products on our discovery page, keep up to date on all of the latest industry news, and learn all about the latest trends and much more. Toy Fair Everywhere, the toy industry's only B2B digital social marketplace that lets both sellers and buyers grow and manage their wholesale business every day, everywhere.
So we're back. Last week we reopened. If I had my druthers, we would have been able to open sooner. I don't think the gap served us well, but that was a necessary downtime for us to actually bring the product back with the enhancements that everyone wanted. So this may not look like much. Well, this actually is inaccurate now. I think we're at 22. We have 22 year-round subscriptions now. That pittance that people paid for in the summer is now significantly higher. It is cheaper if you spread it out over what's it costing me per day. But it was a little bit of a shock that you only charged me this but last summer. Why are you charging me this now? How much better is it? Well, number one, it's every day, every night, everywhere. And we now have 22 sellers. All of these brand numbers, all of those numbers are different than a few days ago. But here's what's exciting. There's activity. We have at least 2 of these companies who have, if they haven't today, or are very close to having paid off their year subscription, because they're getting the business. And everyone's getting connections. It's beautiful. And all of these buyers, this is not a wish list. These are the buyers who have visited the platform over the last week. And so, not surprisingly, Kim's promotional campaign next week is along the lines of, if you lived here, you'd be home. If you'd been on the site, you would have been in front of these buyers. And it's like fish in a barrel right now. Very foolish not to be on there. So we're selling every day. We're thrilled with the activity, because it really does come down to that. The education of our team, the re-engineering of our own skill sets is so critical, but it's even more critical for the brands. They cannot continue to sell the way they have. They have to adopt digital as part of their business strategy. We say it's an and, not an or. So that's where we are today. This is our belief that we now are, our portfolio events is now live, digital, and virtual, and it is the business trifecta. And every company should have those assets in their quiver.